Sign the marriage certificate, or your mother dies in the next 60 seconds. Jungkook slid the paper across the table, his eyes cold as ice. Zoe's hands trembled as she looked at the phone showing a live video of her mother tied to a chair. How did saving a stranger's life 3 months ago lead to this nightmare? How did one blood transfusion turn her into a prisoner of Seoul's most dangerous man? But this story didn't start with violence. It started with a lie. Hit that subscribe button right now. This story has twists you've never seen before. Zoe was having her morning coffee at the hospital when Dr. Kim rushed into the break room, panic on his face. We need AB-negative blood immediately. A critical patient is bleeding out in surgery, and our blood bank is empty. Does anyone here have AB-negative? It was the rarest blood type, and Zoe happened to have it. I do, Zoe said, standing up immediately. 30 minutes later, she was lying on a bed, watching her blood flow through tubes to save someone's life. She never asked who the patient was. It didn't matter. Saving lives was her job. The nurse thanked her, gave her juice and cookies, and that was it. Just another day at work. 3 months passed. Zoe had completely forgotten about the blood donation. Then one Friday evening, as she was leaving the hospital, a luxury car pulled up beside her. The window rolled down, revealing a devastatingly handsome man in an expensive suit. Miss Zoe Robinson? Mr. John Jungkook requests your presence for dinner. He wants to thank you personally. Thank me? For what? Zoe was confused. The driver smiled politely. For saving his life 3 months ago with your blood donation. Please, he's been searching for you for weeks. It seemed harmless, just a thank you dinner. Zoe agreed. She had no idea she was walking straight into a trap that would change her life forever. The restaurant was the most expensive in Seoul, closed to the public for the evening. Only one table was set, covered in candles and roses. Jungkook stood when she entered, and Zoe's breath caught. He was even more handsome up close, tall, with perfectly styled black hair and intense dark eyes that seemed to see straight through her soul. Thank you for coming, Jungkook said, pulling out her chair like a gentleman. I wanted to thank you properly for saving my life. Without your blood, I would have died on that operating table. Dinner was beautiful, expensive food, polite conversation, and Jungkook was surprisingly charming. He asked about her life, her dreams, why she became a nurse. But then, as dessert arrived, Jungkook's tone changed. I've done research on you, Zoe. You're $80,000 in debt. Your mother needs surgery that costs $150,000. Your visa expires in 2 months, and you'll have to return to America. Zoe's fork clattered to her plate. How do you know all that? I know everything, Jungkook said calmly. And I have a proposal. Marry me for 1 year. In return, I'll pay all your debts, fund your mother's surgery, and give you permanent residency in Korea. After 1 year, we divorce, and you walk away with $500,000. Zoe stood up, angry. I'm not for sale. Everyone has a price. Jungkook's eyes were cold now, all charm gone. Your mother's surgery is scheduled for next week. But the hospital just called. They need full payment up front or they'll cancel. Can you get $150,000 in 7 days? Zoe's blood ran cold. He'd somehow arranged this. You planned this? Jungkook smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. You saved my life. Now I own yours. Sign the contract, Zoe. It's the only way to save your mother. Zoe had no choice. She signed the contract with shaking hands, tears running down her face. Within 2 days, they were married in a private ceremony. No guests, no celebration, just legal documents and cold signatures. Jungkook moved her into his penthouse immediately. It was a golden cage, beautiful but still a prison. You'll sleep in the guest room, Jungkook said, showing her around the enormous apartment. We'll appear as a loving couple in public, but in private, stay out of my way. This is a business arrangement, nothing more. Zoe couldn't even look at him. She'd sold herself to save her mother. But things got stranger. Every morning, Jungkook's assistant delivered designer clothes for her to wear. Mr. John wants you to look perfect when you're seen with him, the assistant explained. Zoe was paraded at fancy parties, always on Jungkook's arm, forced to smile and pretend they were in love. She hated every second. The worst part, Jungkook was never mean to her. He was cold, yes, but never cruel. He made sure she ate, asked if she needed anything, even left little notes reminding her to rest. It was confusing. Why did he care? One night, unable to sleep, Zoe found Jungkook in his study looking at old photos. Who is that? She asked, seeing a beautiful woman in the pictures. Jungkook's face turned dark. Someone who died because of me. Now go back to your room, Zoe. This doesn't concern you. But Zoe was starting to realize Jungkook wasn't forcing her into this marriage for fun. He had a deeper, darker reason. and she was terrified to find out what it was. 2 weeks into the marriage, Zoe overheard Jungkook arguing with someone on the phone. I don't care what it takes. Find out everything about her family history. Check her grandmother, her great-grandmother, everyone. When he hung up, he looked exhausted and scared, emotions Zoe had never seen from him before. What's going on? Zoe demanded, stepping into his office. Why are you investigating my family? Jungkook looked at her for a long moment, then sighed. Sit down. It's time you knew the truth. He poured himself a drink before continuing. I didn't just need your blood because I was injured. I have a rare genetic disease. It's terminal. Zoe's anger faded into shock. What? Jungkook continued, his voice flat. The disease makes my body reject most blood. AB negative helps, but only temporarily. I need blood transfusions every 2 weeks to survive. When you donated that day, something miraculous happened. Your blood didn't just help me. It actually made me feel better for months. The doctors ran tests on your blood, Jungkook said, meeting her eyes. You have a genetic mutation, something so rare that only 1 in 10 million people have it. Your blood is quite literally the only thing keeping me alive. That's why I forced you into this marriage. I need you close. I need access to your blood. Zoe felt sick. So I'm just what? Your personal blood bank. Her voice was shaking with fury and horror. Jungkook looked away, guilt flashing across his face. I know how this sounds. But I'm dying, Zoe. Without your blood, I have maybe 6 months to live. I'm not a good man. I've done terrible things. But I'm not ready to die yet. There's more, Jungkook added quietly. The doctors think your DNA might hold the cure. If we can figure out what makes your blood special, we might be able to synthesize it. You wouldn't be tied to me forever. That's why I'm researching your family, to understand your genetics. Zoe didn't know whether to feel sorry for him or hate him more. He'd manipulated her, trapped her, used her, all to survive. But looking into his eyes, she saw real fear, real desperation. And against all logic, part of her understood why he'd done it. Weeks passed. Every 2 weeks, Zoe donated blood in Jungkook's private medical room. It became routine, cold, clinical, silent. But slowly, things started changing between them. Jungkook began talking during the transfusions, telling her about his childhood, his sick mother who died from the same disease, his fear of death. I'm sorry, he said one day during a transfusion. I know sorry doesn't fix what I did to you. But I am genuinely sorry, Zoe. You didn't deserve to be trapped like this. Zoe looked at him, really looked at him. Beneath the cold Mafia boss was just a scared man who didn't want to die. Why did you become a criminal? She asked. Jungkook laughed bitterly. When you're dying and poor, you do anything to survive. I started small, stealing, fighting. Then I got good at it. Too good. Before I knew it, I was running half of Seoul's underground. The money paid for treatments, for research, for hope. He looked at her. But money can't buy what you have, this miracle in your blood. One night, Zoe found Jungkook collapsed in his study, burning with fever. The transfusion isn't working this time, he gasped. My body is getting worse. Without thinking, Zoe helped him to bed, put cold cloths on his forehead, stayed up all night monitoring him. When he woke up the next morning, he found her asleep in a chair beside his bed. Why did you stay? He asked softly, waking her. Zoe rubbed her eyes. Because despite everything, I'm still a nurse. I can't watch someone suffer. Something shifted in Jungkook's eyes, something warm and vulnerable. You're a better person than I deserve. And for the first time since this nightmare began, Zoe saw him not as her captor, but as a human being who was terrified and alone. The walls between them began crumbling. Jungkook started cooking breakfast for her, clumsy attempts that made Zoe laugh despite herself. He asked about her day, actually listened, remembered small details. When she mentioned missing American food, he somehow found a restaurant that made authentic Seoul food. Why are you being nice now? Zoe asked one evening over dinner. Jungkook set down his fork. Because I realized something. I forced you into this marriage to save my life. But what's the point of living if I'm a monster? You make me want to be better, Zoe. Even if it's just for this 1 year. Late one night, Zoe heard music and found Jungkook on the balcony, looking sad. Can't sleep? She asked. He shook his head. Tomorrow is my mother's death anniversary. She died from this same disease when I was 15. I watched her waste away, helpless to save her. His voice cracked. I'm so scared of dying like that. Zoe did something she never thought she would. She hugged him. Jungkook stiffened in shock, then slowly wrapped his arms around her, holding on like she was his lifeline. They stood like that for a long time, two broken people finding unexpected comfort in each other. When they finally pulled apart, the air between them was different, charged, confusing. Zoe, Jungkook whispered, his hand cupping her face. She should pull away. She should remember he'd trapped her, manipulated her, forced her into this. But his touch was so gentle, and his eyes held so much pain and longing. When he leaned in, she didn't stop him. The kiss was soft, tentative, full of questions neither of them could answer. And when it ended, Zoe's heart was pounding. She was falling for her captor. And she didn't know if that made her stupid or human. Things changed after that kiss. Jungkook became more possessive, more attentive. He drove her to work, picked her up, got angry when other men talked to her. Why are you acting like this? Zoe confronted him. This isn't a real marriage. Jungkook's jaw clenched. I know that, but I don't like seeing other men looking at you like they have a chance. One evening, Zoe went out for drinks with her co-worker, Dr. Park, just innocent work friends catching up. But when Jungkook saw them laughing together through the restaurant window, something inside him snapped. He walked in, grabbed Dr. Park by the collar, and slammed him against the wall. Stay away from my wife. Jungkook, stop. Zoe pulled him away, mortified. Dr. Park left quickly, and Zoe turned on Jungkook, furious. What is wrong with you? He's just a friend. You don't own me. Jungkook's eyes were wild, possessive. Don't I? You're bound to me by contract. Your blood runs through my veins. You're mine, Zoe. I'm not your property. Zoe screamed. You forced me into this marriage. I gave you my blood, my time, my life for 1 year. But you don't get to control who I'm friends with. She stormed out, and Jungkook didn't follow. He just stood there, realizing he'd crossed a line. That night, Jungkook came to her room. I'm sorry. You're right, I don't own you. But I'm going crazy, Zoe. Somewhere along the way, this stopped being about survival. I'm falling for you, and it terrifies me because I know you're only here because I forced you. When this year ends, you'll leave, and I'll be alone again. Zoe's anger melted. Jungkook. He knelt in front of her, vulnerable in a way she'd never seen. Tell me I'm not alone in this. Tell me you feel something too, even if it's wrong. Zoe's hands trembled as she touched his face. I do feel something, and I hate myself for it. You trapped me, manipulated me, but somehow I'm falling for you anyway. They kissed again, deeper this time, full of desperate need and confusion, and something that felt dangerously like love. 3 months into the marriage, Jungkook's research team made a breakthrough. Dr. Lee burst into the penthouse, excited. We found it. The mutation in Zoe's DNA that makes her blood special. With more research, we might be able to synthesize it. You might not need her blood anymore. Zoe should have been happy. This meant freedom. But she felt a strange emptiness. Jungkook looked at her, and she saw the same conflict in his eyes. That's great news, he said, but his voice lacked enthusiasm. Dr. Lee continued, but we need more samples. More tests. And it'll take at least 6 more months of research. That night, Jungkook couldn't sleep. Zoe found him on the balcony again. What's wrong? This is what you wanted, a cure. Jungkook laughed bitterly. Is it? Because all I can think about is that once I'm cured, our contract ends. You'll leave. I'll never see you again. He turned to her, raw emotion on his face. I don't want you to go. Jungkook, we can't. Zoe started, but he interrupted. I know this is wrong. I know I manipulated you into this. But these past months with you have been the happiest of my life. Not because you're saving my life with your blood, but because you make me laugh. You challenge me. You see past the monster to the man underneath. What are you saying? Zoe's heart was racing. Jungkook took her hands. I'm saying forget the contract. Forget the marriage deal. I'm asking you as just Jungkook, not a mafia boss, not a dying man. Would you consider staying with me? Not because you have to, but because you want to. Zoe looked into his eyes and saw genuine love there. I need time to think, she whispered. Because as much as she'd grown to care for him, she couldn't forget how this started. Could you really build love on a foundation of manipulation and force? Or was she just experiencing Stockholm Syndrome? She didn't know anymore. And that scared her more than anything. The next morning, everything exploded. A beautiful woman walked into the penthouse like she owned it. Jungkook, darling. I'm back from Paris. She stopped when she saw Zoe. Who is this? Jungkook's face went pale. Mina, what are you doing here? Mina laughed. What do you mean? I've been in Paris for 6 months handling business. You knew I was coming back. Zoe felt sick. Jungkook, who is she? Mina's eyes narrowed. I'm his fiancé. We've been engaged for 2 years. Who are you? The room spun. Fiancé? Jungkook quickly stepped between them. Mina, we need to talk. In private. But Mina pushed past him, looking at Zoe's ring finger. Is that a wedding ring? Jungkook, what did you do? I can explain. Jungkook started, but Mina slapped him across the face. You married someone else while I was gone? How could you? She turned to Zoe, venom in her eyes. Did he tell you about me? Did he tell you we were supposed to get married this year? Or did he lie to you like he lies to everyone? Zoe looked at Jungkook, betrayal crushing her chest. Is this true? You were engaged. Jungkook reached for her. Zoe, please let me explain. But Zoe backed away. You told me everything about your disease, your mother, your fears. But you forgot to mention your FINC? It's complicated. Jungkook said desperately. Mina and I, it's a business arrangement. Our families arranged the engagement. There's no love between us. She knows about my disease. She was in Paris because she couldn't handle watching me die. Mina's face twisted. That's not true. I love you, Jungkook. I've always loved you. Zoe felt like she couldn't breathe. I need to leave. I need to get out of here. She ran to her room, started packing. Jungkook followed. Zoe, please. Don't do this. Yes, I was engaged to Mina, but that ended the moment I met you. You have to believe me. Zoe spun around, tears streaming. How can I believe anything you say? You forced me into marriage, made me fall for you, and now I find out you already had a fiancé? What else are you hiding? Nothing. I swear. Jungkook grabbed her arms, desperate. Zoe, you're the only real thing in my life. Everything else is fake. The business, the arrangements, all of it. But what I feel for you is real. Zoe pulled away. I don't know what's real anymore. I need space. I need to think. She grabbed her bag and walked out, leaving Jungkook broken and Mina smirking in victory. Zoe moved into a hotel, ignoring Jungkook's 100 calls and texts. She needed clarity. But on her third day there, someone knocked on her door. It was Mina. We need to talk, Mina said, pushing her way in. Woman to woman. Zoe crossed her arms. What do you want? Mina's smile was cold. I want you to leave Jungkook. Here's a check for $2 million. Take it and disappear. I'm not taking your money, Zoe said flatly. Mina's expression darkened. Then let me tell you what kind of man you're fighting for. Jungkook isn't just sick, he's dangerous. He's killed people. Dozens of people. His business is crime, drugs, violence. Is that really what you want? Zoe's blood ran cold. She knew Jungkook was involved in shady business, but murder? You're lying, Zoe whispered. Mina pulled out her phone, showing photos. Jungkook with a gun, standing over bodies, covered in blood. These are from 2 years ago. He's a monster, Zoe. A sick, dying monster who's using you. Once he gets what he needs from your blood, he'll throw you away like trash. He's done it before. Zoe felt sick. Before she could respond, the hotel room door burst open. Jungkook stormed in, fury in his eyes. Mina, get out. Now. Mina smiled innocently. I was just telling Zoe the truth about you, darling. About who you really are. Jungkook grabbed Mina's arm, dragging her to the door. If you ever come near her again, engagement or not, I'll destroy everything you love. After Mina left, Jungkook turned to Zoe. She was pale, shaking. Is it true? Did you kill people? Jungkook's silence was answer enough. Zoe, I'm not a good man. I've done terrible things to survive, to build my empire, to afford my treatments. But I've never lied to you about who I am, a criminal trying to be better. Why didn't you tell me about the murders? Zoe's voice was barely a whisper. Jungkook stepped closer. Because I was terrified you'd look at me exactly the way you're looking at me now, with fear and disgust. I wanted you to see the man I'm trying to become, not the monster I was. Zoe's mind was spinning. I need time. Real time. Away from you, from Mina, from all of this. I need to figure out what I want. Jungkook nodded, pain clear in his eyes. Okay, take all the time you need. But know this, I love you, Zoe. Whatever I've done, whatever I am, that's the only truth that matters anymore. He left, and Zoe collapsed on the bed, crying. She was in love with a killer, a manipulator, a dying man who'd forced her into marriage. And despite everything, she still wanted him. What did that say about her? A week passed. Zoe's mother called from America, completely healed from her surgery. Thank you, baby. I don't know how you afforded it, but you saved my life. Hearing her mother's healthy voice made Zoe realize something. Jungkook had kept his promise. Despite everything, he'd saved her mother. He'd paid her debts. He'd given her everything he'd promised. That night, Zoe got a call from Dr. Lee. Zoe, you need to come to the hospital. It's Jungkook. His body is rejecting the synthetic blood we've been testing. He's dying, and he's refusing any more of your blood. He says he won't force you anymore. You need to come now. Zoe's heart stopped. She ran to the hospital, finding Jungkook in a private room, pale and weak. What are you doing? Why won't you accept the transfusion? Jungkook smiled weakly. Because you were right. I don't own you. I can't keep taking from you when you want to leave. If I'm meant to die, then I'll die. At least I got to love you for a few months. That's more than I deserved. You idiot. Zoe was crying, rolling up her sleeve. Dr. Lee, set up the transfusion. Now. Jungkook grabbed her hand. Zoe, no. You don't have to. Shut up, Zoe said through tears. I'm not letting you die. Not like this. Not when I just figured out that I love you too, you manipulative, frustrating, dying fool. As her blood flowed into him, Jungkook's color slowly returned. You love me? He whispered in disbelief. Zoe nodded. I don't know if it's real love or Stockholm Syndrome or just pure insanity. But yes, despite everything you've done, all the ways you've hurt me, I love you. And I choose to stay. Not because of the contract, but because I want to. Jungkook pulled her close, crying. I don't deserve you. I don't deserve your forgiveness or your love. But I promise, I'll spend every day I have left trying to be worthy of it. They kissed, both crying, both knowing this love was complicated and messy and built on darkness. But it was real. And sometimes real love isn't perfect. Sometimes it's just two broken people choosing each other despite everything. 2 months later, Jungkook's health had stabilized with Zoe's continued transfusions and the improved synthetic blood. They decided to have a real wedding. Not a forced contract, but a celebration of their choice to be together. The venue was beautiful, filled with flowers and lights. Zoe's mother flew in from America, finally meeting the man who'd saved her life and stolen her daughter's heart. Are you sure about this, baby? Her mother asked as Zoe put on her wedding dress. I know about his past. I know what he is. Zoe smiled. He's not perfect, Mom. But he's mine. And I'm choosing him with my eyes wide open. The ceremony was about to begin. Zoe stood at the back of the aisle, ready to walk toward Jungkook, who waited at the altar looking more handsome than ever in his tuxedo. But just as the music started, the doors burst open. Mina walked in, and she wasn't alone. She had armed men with her, at least 20 of them, all pointing guns at the guests. I'm sorry to crash the party, Mina said with a wicked smile. But this wedding isn't happening. Jungkook moved to protect Zoe, but Mina's men surrounded them. What are you doing, Mina? Jungkook's voice was deadly calm. Mina laughed. What I should have done months ago. See, I did some research on your precious Zoe. Her blood isn't just rare, it's priceless. There are 5 other people in the world with your same disease. All billionaires willing to pay anything for access to her blood. I'm going to sell her to the highest bidder. Zoe's blood ran cold. You can't do this. Mina walked up to her, grabbing her arm roughly. Watch me. Jungkook, you can either let her go peacefully, or I'll kill everyone in this room, including her mother. Your choice. Jungkook's face was torn with agony. He looked at Zoe, then at her terrified mother, then at all the innocent guests. Jungkook, don't, Zoe whispered. Fight her. I know you can. But Jungkook's shoulders slumped in defeat. Take her. Just don't hurt anyone else. No. Zoe screamed as Mina's men grabbed her. Jungkook. He looked at her with tears in his eyes. I'm sorry, Zoe. I'm so sorry. But I can't let your mother die because of me. I can't let all these people die. As they dragged Zoe away, she saw Jungkook collapse to his knees broken. Mina leaned down and whispered something in his ear that made his face go white with horror. Then Zoe was thrown into a van, a needle jabbed into her arm, and everything went black. The last thing she heard was Mina's cold voice. Don't worry, darling. Where you're going, you'll wish you'd never saved his life. To be continued. Did Jungkook really give up Zoe? What did Mina whisper to him? Who are these mysterious billionaires willing to kill for Zoe's blood? And will Zoe ever escape this nightmare? Drop a purple heart if you're shocked by this twist. Comment below. Was Jungkook wrong to surrender Zoe, or was he protecting the people he loved? Should he have fought back? I'm reading every comment. Smash that like button, share this video with your K-drama loving friends, and subscribe for part 2. Hit the notification bell, because what happens next will blow your mind. Trust me, you do not want to miss part 2.